within our communication system, but we are out and moving once again. Now, the reason I was late was I was overly eager. I was at the gate 15 minutes early, but unfortunately the key was about 10 minutes late. So the combination made us a little bit later than expected. My name is Jamie, and this morning I am thrilled to announce that Archie is on camera with me, having joined our staff here in the Masai Mara. So we are live from Kenya. We will be attempting to be joined by the crew in South Africa, but I'll explain that in a little bit. First of all, send through your questions and your comments on hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. It's going to be largely us for the moment. Today was meant to be Brent's rest morning, so I'm not quite sure where he is or what his plans are. We obviously weren't expecting the issues that arose with the radio system. But what we're going to be... I'm very sorry. Right. What I'm going to just explain to you quickly is that we're going to be trying something the old-fashioned way. We're going to be using phones instead of radios. Very old-fashioned, right? No, we're going to be trying to get Noel through phone. I've still got communication with Rebecca in the Mara FC, so we're going to see how that works, but I suspect that it will be largely based on us driving around. It's a little bit of a pity in that my plan was to go to where the cheetah and her cubs were last seen. I got a message from one of the Angama guides a couple of days ago while we were across the river to say, Jamie, we've got the cheetah here. And there was nothing I could do about it because I was probably in a straight line about 40 odd, no more, probably about 60 odd kilometers away in a straight line. So there was no way we could have got there. But I'm hoping, or I was hoping, she might still be there. The difficulty now, of course, is that because we're on our own, unless you really want to look at the back of my head while I race there, which will take me about an hour, I'm not sure that's our best course of action. So I think what we'll do is we'll stick around here, skid around in the mud. I'm not so certain I want to go to the Samaki swamp after the amount of rain we had last night, but who knows. This morning we are joined by Faith, our very, very capable director. She joined our Kenyan staff. When did you arrive? September. In September. So Faith is joining us this morning, and she will be enjoying a little bit of time spent outside of the final control room, which is always a joy, I imagine, getting to see in real life what she sees out here. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to try and send you across to Noel on bushwalk in South Africa. Hopefully it works. If it doesn't, I'll be here waiting for you when you return.
Everyone, from a wonderfully overcast morning here in South Africa in Djuma. I am Noel, and on camera we have James. Hello, James. That's James saying hello. So it's a little bit crisp, but it's a perfect morning for a bushwalk. So we are going to start heading off and seeing what we can find. So sorry for the delay this morning. It seems as if our solar-powered battery has decided to give up the ghost with all of this overcast weather that we're having, but it should be sorted out as soon as we possibly can. So we're going to make our way down into the Milwati, and I want to see if we can pick up on any tracks, possibly some elephant, or maybe our male lion will come back from yesterday. You never know. But let's carry on so long, as we will do on a bushwalk, and see if we find any interesting tracks or signs, or maybe even some birds for you. All right. Now, here's something quite interesting. Let's see what we can do with this. So you get mole rats and you get dung beetles, who both dig up soil in a manner of speaking, but you can tell whether it's a mole rat or if it's a dung beetle by the way that the soil's dug up and the size of the soil. So for me, I would actually say that this is most likely dung beetles, just from the size of the chunks that are coming out and the way in which it's piled up. For me, a mole rat would be a much larger type of mound of soil with larger, I don't know what to call these. Tunnels, push-out tunnels, let's just call them that. I don't have really have a word for them. And a little bit more in sort of dome-shaped. Now, interestingly enough, I actually think... James, can you see these ants carrying away this termite? just in the corner here.
But let me approach closely.
Approach closely for the potentially dangerous animals. Just down in the side. Oh, shame, they're taking it away. So these ants have managed to find what I'm assuming is a termite from what I can see here, and have killed him and are taking him away and to devour him. Now, as I say this, some of this soil has been pushed up, so our dung beetles are actually active as we speak, just under here. So not only are the dung beetles busy in here, but I mean, we've got the ants that are moving around, we've got those termites that were there. I'm sure that there's probably other insect species busy moving around inside of this very moist, very nutritious soil. Extremely interesting. It's one of the things I love about bushwalk is it's not just the big things, it's the little things as well. All right, so as we carry on, finding you something to chat about, I think maybe let's head back towards Kenya where Jamie is busy bumbling about.
I couldn't agree more with Noel. It is indeed about the small things, not just when you're on bushwalk, but when you're driving around as well. Even if it involves taking a moment to enjoy looking at the birds after the rain, all puffed up and uncomfortable with soggy feathers, enjoying basking in the morning light. And I'm hoping that this black-bellied bustard is going to call for us. I'm sorry if I've got your name wrong. P-Watcher. You want to know who won the bird contest? I've got absolutely no idea. Rebecca, who won the bird contest last night? I have no idea. I know I should, but we were distracted. We were distracted by the film premiere of Faith's award-nominated film, so we actually didn't check the tally. Does anybody know who won the bird contest? My money was on the Djuma team from the start, especially in the afternoon that we had in all of the rain, although they did as well, and in all fairness to them, they did the most amazing job, considering what a head start we had. I have no idea. Oh, Kirsty says it was Djuma that won. Kirsty's biased, though. I want to hear from the viewers. Who won the bird contest. I'm not sure I trust Kirsty. No, of course I trust Kirsty, and I'm sure I believe her. Do I? What was the total then? Come on. While we wait for this black-bellied bustard to call. If it's going to call. I'm not sure it will. I think it's too cold and soggy to be involved in such endeavours. Oh, look at you. Enjoying a little dozy morning. Come on, this is when you should be calling a lot. First thing in the morning, dawn chorus. Who knows how many males are out there attracting females and you're sitting here basking in the sun, missing your opportunity. Just one call? It looks so utterly bizarre, with its head tucked in like that. My neck's uncomfortable at the thought. It's like it's folded up. I can hear another one calling, so I'm thinking it might call. Becca Sue, apart from the ostrich, which yes, of course, takes the record for the tallest bird. I want to know what is the tallest bird in the Mara. I would say it was probably the Kori bustard, which can reach almost up to 1.5 meters in height. That would probably be the tallest. I'm trying to think. The crowned crane is also very tall, and of course the crowned crane has the added advantage of having that little crest of feathers on the top of its head, which adds 1 inch or 2 in height. But I would say it's probably still the Kori bustard, and I think that's also emphasized by the sheer bulk of the Kori bustard. A crowned crane is a slender, pretty bird. The secretary bird also comes quite close in terms of height. It could, and then of course it's also got feathers sticking out of the top of its head that are that long. which adds to it. But let's take it from the top of the head. And from the top of the head, I would say it was probably a Kori bustard. But those are the three tall birds that we see. We also see saddle-billed storks are very tall. Marabou storks, in fact, a marabou might be even taller than a Kori bustard. Not as heavy, but it might be even taller, come to think of it. Marabou storks are unbelievably tall. They're not far off my height. I'm 5'7". They're just below. And very intimidating with that massive beak. Okay, this black-bellied bustard doesn't want to call for us this morning. It's cold. I suppose that's fair enough. I wouldn't want to either. Okay, so there we go. Talking about heights and birds. I'm sorry, you might have to unfold yourself here as I come past. Don't you worry. I'll come past nice and slowly. So Julie's wondering about the height of a secretary bird. Just under 1.5 meters, so just under about 5 feet or so. No, under about 4.5 feet. I'm not very good with feet, but somewhere in that region. So they are tall birds. They've got very, very long legs. Not as tall as a marabou or a Kori bustard, or indeed a crowned crane, actually, I don't think. Crowned cranes and secretary birds probably come closest in terms of size. We are going to slip and slide all over the show this morning. It is so muddy. And it's deceptive. I mean, I'm driving on a grass track. You'd think it would be absolutely fine. But we skidded off the road earlier because I was deceived by the integrity of this road. Whee! Okay, where to go after all this rain? I think we're going to be asking to get stuck if we go in that direction. So essentially, over there is the Samaki swamp. And the reason it's a swamp is because of the way that the mountains are laid up. All of the water rushes down from the mountains, travels through the various luggers. You've seen the Angama's lugger, you've seen the lugger where the dead hippopotamus were. All of those essentially lead and drain into that area over there. Whoa! Which in turn drains into the Mara River. But the result is that when it does rain like this whole area is sticky. Let's put it that way, it's sticky. Craig was telling me a story yesterday because in these vehicles, in this mud, the back swings out all the time. It's almost impossible for us to control. Apparently, not so long ago, while James was still in the Mara, apparently he did a full accidental 180, and his face was an absolute picture. Whee! And we're off. From the tallest to the fastest. Kylie, the fastest running bird is the ostrich. An ostrich can actually potentially outpace a cheetah or a lion, provided it has enough of a head start due to its stamina. So they can run for a much longer distance than a cheetah or a lion might. I have seen an ostrich hunt in my life, a cheetah ostrich hunt. It was, whoa, I'm even sliding off the main road. It was utterly spectacular to witness, and it was quite terrifying watching it because it really felt like a very evenly matched battle. It was two cheetah, and an ostrich has a phenomenally powerful kick as well. So that is the fastest running bird. The fastest flying bird that you'd see in the Mara would be a peregrine falcon. At dive speeds would hit well over 200 kilometers an hour. So that would be your fastest flying bird. Okay, you look like you might actually cooperate. What do you think? That's what a black-bellied bustard normally looks like when it's not all tucked up and freezing, trying to dry off. Come on, give us a call. No, now you're running and hiding. Are you going to pop up the other side, or are you actually hiding from me? No, you are going to pop up the other side. Come on. Oh, all of the black-bellied bustards are preoccupied at the moment. Oh, there we go, there we go. Is he going to call? No, he's going to run back the other way. There was a moment there where it felt like it was contemplating doing the whistling pop call. Oh, popped up all the way over there. No, not interested. Oh, there's two. There's three. Hold on, let's go back a little bit. That explains the level of agitation that we're seeing. Hold on a moment. Yeah, let me go back a little bit. I really hope there's no car behind me. Yesterday with the rain covers on, I nearly actually had a car accident. Admittedly, partly my fault. I came around the corner too fast because I thought the way was clear, but the way was not clear. So there we go. There's our one black-bellied bustard. There are another two hidden in the grass, and it looks like they are both males. So you often see the males gathered together. They're not very impressed when that situation arises. And occasionally you get a bit of a fight. Oh, he's chasing him. Oh, he's determined. Our first chap is not having any of this. Get off my lawn. And the two interlopers are sent packing at high speed, followed by the aggressor, who of course can't see more than a few feet into the grass because they're such short birds and the grass is quite long. So now he knows that they've run away, but now he doesn't know exactly where they've run to. So he's going to keep advancing just in case they've decided they've had the gall to stop. Which they have. They've stopped. There's the aggressor off on the left. He's looking particularly upset with life. Where'd they go? Where'd they go? Okay, alright, I can go back to my spot. That's them seen off. Now to find a lady. And possibly breakfast. I think perhaps you should find a good termite mound so you can dry yourself off. Here we go. Right, now, are you going to call? Now that you've seen off the rivals, are you going to call or are you going to disappear down here again? You're going to disappear, aren't you? Ah, this black-bellied bustard has not done its homework. Doesn't it know that at this time of the morning it's the best time to listen to bird calls because you get the dawn chorus? Obviously not. It really hasn't been doing its research. Doesn't know what it's meant to do. Here we go. Here we go, there we go. Okay. Better late than never. Alright, let's try for one more time. And then, Tina, do I ever do any bird calls? I am a fairly hopeless animal imitator. I can do a few, though. I'll do them for you in a moment when this black-bellied bustard does its call for us properly and you get to hear it. Here we go. No? Okay, we're still moving. The other birds are drowning it out as well. Oh, onto the road. I have to get a sip of water as well to prepare myself for the bird call imitation contest. I'll have to challenge Noel. Ah. So I'll do my best black-bellied bustard impression. No. I need more water, my lips are too dry. I can't whistle. This always happens to me when it's time to imitate a bird call. Come on. One more call for us, black-bellied bustard. Oh, now you're getting a bit far away. It's the bubble pop at the end that makes it so priceless. No, I'm hopeless. I'm hopeless. I will never match Herbie or Brian's skill when it comes to imitating black-bellied bustards. I'm appalling. I could try and do a pearl-spotted owl for you. That one's not bad. That one I've managed to get to the point where a pearl-spotted owl has responded to me. And then the woodland kingfisher, I'm always so tempted now because it's such a thing. I just want to call them woodlands kingfishers. But I won't. I won't. For Mr. Henry would be deeply, deeply offended. Here we go. Let's try for one more call while I think of other birds I can imitate. The woodland king... Shh, Jamie. Let the bustard do its talking. Bex, will you just let me know when it calls next if you can hear it? The dawn chorus is loud this morning. No, you're hiding. Don't hide. You need to get to a high point. Can do a ground hornbill. Toot, 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 toot. Orange-breasted bushrike. Grey-headed bushrike. Chin-spot battus. Can't do a woodland kingfisher, to be honest. Doesn't really work that well, does it? It's a very difficult one to do. What's the other one I wanted to do? Can't think of any more. Now, this black-bellied bustard has been occasionally calling for us, but we've missed it every time, due largely to my ill timing. But I've already given you my demonstration of a black-bellied bustard call, and I think you'll all agree it scores probably around about a 2 out of 10. The only reason it doesn't score a 0 is because there's a neat little whistle when I get it right. Can't do the pop at all. But there is somebody out there who is very, very good at doing a black-bellied bustard impression, and so much so he's had a conversation with them before.
Very interesting that's happening inside of this knobthorn tree with a couple of different species of starlings. So Herbie and James and I were just chatting about it now. It looks as though the Burchell starling, the one with sort of the longer tail, is being harassed by what I would say are Cape Glossies, but from where I could be a little bit wrong, could be a greater blue-eared. And they're not mobbing him or anything, they're just voicing their issues. It's been going on for, I'd say a couple of minutes, and as you can see, it's been back. Basically, whenever the Burchell moves, they come back and keep an eye on him. Now, they're both of these types of starlings are tree nesters, and so there's possibly a nest nearby or a nesting site that they like. I've seen Burchells remove long-tailed starlings in other places I've worked, and the long-tailed starlings come back. Neve starlings, they're called now. Very interesting sounds. And of course, as I say that, they stop. Now, as we've been walking around, I'm seeing all of these winged alights flying about, and I've been trying to find a hole where they've been coming out of to show you. I'm not quite sure. They're very teeny tiny. I'm not quite sure if we'll be able to get them on camera as they flit about, but if we can find where they come out of their little crevice, we'll be able, I'm just watching them come past James now, we'll be able to see them moving and functioning. Basically where we're looking is we're looking around wherever you would find termites, so sort of dead stump areas like this. Sometimes it's just a hole in the ground. Sometimes it's underneath a dung pile. But we will keep looking. And I believe Jamie was asking if I was able to do black-bellied bustard call. Unfortunately, I am not very good at that call. I do know Herbie is very good at that call, but Herbie is busy scouting ahead for us. So if we get a chance to have him do that for you on camera, we'll definitely do so. All right, well, I'm busy looking for where these termites, these winged alights are flying out of. Aha, James. Maybe here? Some of them have dropped their wings a bit. And we've got ants coming and taking over. Super. You can actually see ones that have lost their wings and are busy trying to find each other to mate. There we go. See these little pile of wings here? You can see the couples moving about. So the minute they stop like this and drop their wings, that's it. They're never going to have those wings again. And then as you can see, the ants coming through. Oh, did you see him catch that one? Absolutely fantastic. So now that's a meal for that ant. He's going to bring it back to the hive. We've got more. I'm not quite sure which species of ants this is. James, do you know which species?
I'm not able to tell right now.
Yeah, but if I find out the answer for everybody, I will let you know.
Ant.
A drop-tailed ant, James says. How fantastic. Carnage on the macro level. And not only are they... Oh, look, he's going to go after these ones here. Sorry, I'm absolutely enthralled right now.
Yep.
There he goes. How incredibly fantastic. So, look, we haven't found where they've been flying out of, but this is a spot where they've decided to land. Drop their wings, as I said, and unfortunately, the drop-tailed ants have managed to pick up this spot very quickly. And as I look back behind me, ants, when they move, they have little pheromones that they leave behind, and then when they go back to the hive, I'm just going to be very careful not to step on any. When they go back to the hive, then they're communicating to the rest to come this way. So, I mean, you can just see drop-tailed ants are now swarming in this direction to get to where these winged alights have landed. The drop-tailed ant's nest, to me, looks... Ah, here it is. It's over here. So this is where the drop-tailed ants are coming out of. No, sorry, guys. Don't come onto me. Coming out of. And making their way pretty hastily for that food source. So basically, the more they swarm and the quicker they get there, the more food they're likely to obtain. Absolutely fascinating. All right. Well, carnage will carry on as we carry on. What a great way to start our bushwalk. Absolutely fascinating. Let's head back towards the Mara to Jamie and see if she has anything on a larger scale trying to wreak some havoc in the early morning hours there.
it's a quail. Good morning everybody, and welcome to the Kruger National Park of South Africa. My name is Ralph Kirsten, and we've got Sebastian on the camera.
Hello everyone.
Folks, it's been another night of lots of rain, and we have just been driving around trying to see all the new tracks on the road, and it's been an exciting morning because everything is nice and fresh. However, it has been playing havoc with the equipment, but we cannot complain with the amount of rain we have received. It is really a gift from heaven. So we're going to be continuing on a little bit on the road, and we're heading towards Chitwa Dam. We wanted to do a little bit of birding. Yesterday it was not that great birding from my side, especially. I didn't find many birds, but I'd like to pick up a little bit on at Chitwa Dam. I know yesterday afternoon Tristan found a lot of birds. He also did find Hosanna to finish off the drive, which was a fantastic way to finish. But I want to start just with the birds, and then after that I would also like to find up with some of the cats, because I'm still learning the particular individual cats here. So for me, I'd like to find any of the cats, the Styx pride and the Nkahuma pride of the lions. They have been in the area, but it seems they might have shifted out of the reserve. But we always have the possibility of catching up with one or two of them. They did seem to be a little bit split, but we'll find out a little bit later what's happening there. Nobody has found any sign of them as yet, it seems, this morning, just yet. But as I say, I'm going to head towards Chitwa Dam, and sure, we're gonna find a lot of birds there at least, and maybe the hippos have hung around. We did pass by where Scuba Steve was hanging around with his lady, but it seems for the time being she's not there. Okay, so I'm going to head towards Chitwa Dam and catch up on the birds there, and we'll bring you up to speed with that. But in the meantime, I think Jamie's got something to show you up in the Mara.
I do. I'm also trying very hard not to get stuck, or at least slip into them. But we've got a very, very relaxed troop of baboons, and they've been keeping us thoroughly entertained while you've been with Noel, James, and Ralph. I'm just trying to get us to a spot where we can watch the entire troop properly. They're so relaxed with us. I'm actually very happy to see this. Good morning, I say as they all dash off away from me. No, they're not too bad. Hello, little one. There is no... He doesn't getting its belly wet on the wet grass. Is that not very comfortable? It's much nicer to walk along the road, huh? You can see the two big male baboons there, walking with the typical baboon swagger. There must be about 30-odd members in this particular troop that I can see. And sitting and watching baboons, especially at this time of the morning, is always entertaining, because you get the little ones playing, you get the adult males asserting some discipline, occasionally finding a female in estrus, all sorts of goings on. They're very, very busy at this time of day, waiting for the sun to come up so they can enjoy a little bit of a basking session. Look at that. Okay, he looks like something out of a ninja movie. That was such a pose. The guy in the middle. There he goes again. Youngsters, safely protected by the enormous males. Never pushing the limits, though. Always behaving, because a male baboon can deliver quite a solid hiding to a youngster that oversteps the boundaries. Look at this imitation, watching what the male did and then doing the same. Okay, how do I do this again? Why are we digging in the mud? What are we looking for? Ah, I see. I understand now. I get it. Right, let me try that again. No. Is anything any better? Maybe over there. Yeah? Give my fingers an experimental taste. But sandy for my liking. Okay, let's see what the big guys do next. Look at me, I'm a big, strong baboon. Got the swagger down. Now, Fern, I think it's something that we talk about quite regularly in baboon sightings, because all of us as guides have had some experience with overly friendly baboons, or a little bit of an internal scrap. Now, Fern's question is, would they ever get into the car? Would they be that curious? Not here, no. I've found that these baboons are actually pretty scared of people. They very, very seldom cross that boundary. In fact, I've never seen them cross that boundary. The Chitwa baboons back in South Africa have become notorious for it. I once, many, many years ago, was sitting eating a sandwich in the car, and one jumped in through one window, grabbed it out of my hand, and jumped over my lap and out the other window. So yes, there are baboons that will come into vehicles, and they of course will do that. Come, let's catch up with them. They'll do that when they've been fed. That is essentially when you will see something like that happening. Well-meaning tourists go, oh, poor baboons, they look so hungry. We'd better feed them. And ultimately, it could potentially be signing a death warrant for the baboons. But in South Africa, particularly in Cape Town, in any of the tourist areas around God's Window or Burke's Potholes or any of those places where there's people, tourists, they feed the baboons Kruger. The baboons become very comfortable with people, associate people with food, and it's a dangerous thing because an adult baboon can do quite significant damage. They are very strong, they've got very large canines, and they are very protective over the rest of their troop. My cousin got bitten by a baboon once. It traumatized me as a small child. So yes, baboons are troublemakers, and they learn. They learn to open doors, they learn to open car doors, they learn to rob people, they learn that people are scared of them, because then people scream and screech and run away, and then you've got chaos. Oh, don't go all into the grass now. We're having such a great time with you guys. Proudcat Mama, this is actually quite a small troop. I'm trying to think what we should watch, but they're all going to disappear into the grass now. This would be considered a small troop. A troop of olive baboons can go up to over 100 members. So this group of maybe 30, this would be quite a small group. It's possible that the rest of them I haven't seen. It's hiding in the trees somewhere, but I don't think so. I think this is just a small group. Oh no, this wouldn't be considered to be a large troop of baboons. Imagine how much damage they can do. I think any of you who have visited South Africa or for a long period of time or have or live in South Africa, you will have experienced the utter chaos that a baboon can cause when they get into your house. Oh, it's a baby. I was so confused by that. That was so odd. I couldn't work out what was going on there, but there's a baby peeking out there. How sweet. Oh, little one. A curious baboon came up to grab it. Mum wasn't having any of it. Oh, she's beautiful, isn't she? I mean, for a baboon, look at this little foot. Look, gripping on. It's so young, it hasn't learned to ride on Mum's back yet. There's still the instinct of tucking itself under her chest, and Mum has to do, in the initial stages of raising her little one, she's actually got to hold it with one foot and run on 3 legs. Oh, and occasionally scratch her bottom, and then her head, and then her nose, in that order. Oh, look at its little feet gripping onto her fur. Where are you going? Are you going adventuring? Okay. Couple of weeks old at the most. Where are you going off to? No, Mom's going to hold you down. None of that exploring now. Not yet. Not until she feels safe enough for you to go away. Oh, she's gone into the grass. It's too sweet, though. And that is sort of the end of our baboon sighting, I'm afraid. Oh, there's some more on the road. Hold on. Let's go and catch up with the ones on the road, because I don't think we'll be able to see. And we've got another baby animal as well, up ahead. I'll show you that in a second. Ah! Mud! Mud! Mud, I tell you. No, don't all run away. Okay, fine. Run away then. Sure. A few weeks ago, this grass was non-existent. We would have enjoyed this baboon sighting for a lot longer. Now, it's very, very long. Okay, there's something I quickly want to show you if Rebecca doesn't mind, and that's the baby giraffe at the back. Just quickly, because I promised I'd show you a baby, and I can't get much closer to it in this thick mud. But there's a tiny, tiny baby giraffe. Oh, look at it. Its ossicones are still flat. Look, its ossicones are still flat. It's so new. They haven't even popped up yet. Oh, that is a brand new baby giraffe. Look at that. Do you want to stay with it, Bex, for a little while? Just watch it, or do you want me to... Okay, cool. Cool. Hi, Wobbly. Oh, what a time to be born. When there's all this mushy mud around just to make your life even more difficult. You're still learning to use your legs, and now you got to wobble everywhere. Hasn't quite mastered the back legs yet. Oh my gosh, it's so tiny. I wonder when that thing was born. I'm going to hazard a guess and say not long ago at all. Under a week? I would even go for less than a day if I was pushed for an answer. Just by the way it's walking. It's very tucked under. Is it me, or does it look sort of like it's tucked? It's got its pelvis very tucked in. There's its umbilical cord. Its umbilical cord hasn't even dried yet. It is really, really new. That umbilical cord's still flopping about. Welcome to the world. With your floppy mane. I wonder, were you a baby born in the storm? Or perhaps you were born yesterday. I don't know. I think that's a very, very... Oh, look, it's running. That's it. There we go. That's how your leggies work. Oh, yes. Bop your mom in the bottom. Can we... This is going to sound like such a terrible invasion of privacy, but could we zoom in under... Is that as far as you can go, Arch? Yeah, that's as far as you can go, right at the end of the lens. I don't want to get too much closer because we are going to scare it. I'm trying to have a look and see if Mum has any recent signs of birth. If there's... I think I see a little bit of... No. There's no blood or anything around there. Oh, no, there is. There is blood around the back of her leg. Just a little bit. Most of it would have been washed away by the storm, but I think we've got a really brand new baby here. One day, we will witness a giraffe birth. It'll happen. We're out here so many hours in a day. It has to happen. Oh, sweetheart. Linda Polly, you say there are so many sweet babies in the Mara at the moment. I know. I was so desperate to show you those baby warthogs taking their first trip. Oh, look. Their first trip out of the den site. Oh, look how tiny it looks next to Mum. Well done, you clever girl. Well done. Yes, that's yours. You made that. Yes, it came from there and now it's there. Clever girl. How stunning. Gosh, Mom's tongue's bigger than its head. At least Mom's eating. She looks good. She looks strong. Hey, grazing giraffe, everyone. Giraffes only eat leaves. What's she doing? I've seen giraffe graze a few times. They do mainly eat leaves, and most of the time when they're bending down, they're feeding off the leaves of young trees. But in this case, she was actually eating a little bit of grass. Soft food for a mum that's been through quite the ordeal. Do you agree with my assessment? Born less than a day ago? It's up and running. Now that she's moving away a little bit, I'm going to try and get a little bit closer so that we can spend some more time with this baby giraffe. But while we do that, let's send you across to Ralph, who has made his way to some hippo. Maybe there's even a baby somewhere there.
So folks, we made our way over to Chitwa Dam, and there seems to be a whole host of hippos, and they've been going underwater and telling each other jokes, and they've been coming up laughing, as hippos do. Now, I just want to remind you that you don't forget to join us on Twitter, #SafariLive, and on the YouTube live chat. Please give us your questions and your comments, and let's make it as interactive as possible. I just want to give you some interesting information on this day, the 26th of November. A couple of interesting things that have happened today in history. 1778, the British explorer Captain James Cook discovered Maui in the Sandwich Islands, which is now Hawaii. In 1789, it was the first national Thanksgiving in America. 1865, Alice in Wonderland was published in America. There's just a couple of interesting little facts there on this day, the 26th of November. So we went past Buffalo's Hook Dam, and Scuba Steve had disappeared, and so had his lady friend. So I wonder if they haven't come back this side and are now part of the bigger grouping of hippo. And if Sebastian pans over to the left, the birds are very busy up in that tree there, especially the red-billed buffalo weavers. Now they've built the major structures and probably would have done so quite a long time ago, but at present you can see they're all sort of vying for their particular nesting places, and a lot of them are coming in with nesting material. They're flying off, and they're not coming back with sticks. They're coming back with soft grass and leaves, etc. It's probably going on the inside as they're preparing for their real nesting and their eggs and the babies on the inside. So it's all about the bedroom now, making that ready, and the nursery. So quite interesting. No more structural building, it seems more so all on the nursery side of things. As usual, the Egyptian geese are letting their voices be known. So it's quite nice that the rain has dropped off a little bit, and we're not getting as wet as we were yesterday, and things are starting to happen again. Everything was sort of just surviving through the couple of days of wetness, and over there Seb's spotted that one lonely crocodile who seems to have just come a little bit onto the bank. He's probably also in need of a bit of warmth, So he's probably coming onto the side of the bank looking to get a few rays. Tammy, do I get any bird songs stuck in my head? Absolutely, especially with these Egyptian geese. They very much get stuck in my head. But one in particular now in summer is that of the woodland kingfisher. He's been getting stuck in my head. Sorry, I was just listening to the hippo laughing there. That's what we say. They go underwater and they tell each other jokes and they all come up laughing. So Tammy, yes, there's particular times of year, different birds that really start to call, and then those calls get stuck in my head. And at the moment it's mostly the woodland kingfisher who's quite dominant at present. We're hearing him around camp, we're hearing him on drive, we're hearing him on walk. He's really calling all the time. It's nice and calm, not too much wind. There's a little bit of a ripple on the water, but you can see it's really just a little breeze. It's only about 70 degrees Fahrenheit. It's quite cool. We've all still got our jackets on. We're all still ready for the rain, but it does seem to be lifting a little bit now. And it has been particularly dry leading up to this rain, so it is very welcome in terms of getting the water table back up, filling up all the little pans as those Egyptian geese start vying for territories and chase each other around. And you must think now, it's quite difficult to imagine from a bird perspective, with all the migrants returning from all their different destinations. Over winter there would have been a whole host more space for these birds. And at the moment all of them have returned, so the space is diminished, but there's and so the resources are still the same. So we're going to continue looking at these birds a little bit for the moment, but Noelle is out on foot, and I think she might have something very nice to show you.
I do. I have Herbie. I have Herbie who wants to do his black-bellied bustard call. Hey, Herbie. Please, would you mind, my friend, to do a black-bellied bustard call?
Good morning.
I won't look at you, I promise. Yes, that's good, hey? Sounds exactly the same. You even have the head movement down. So there we go. Black-bellied bustard call. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you, sir. Okay, so are you pretending to be a pearl-spotted owlet? Now are you quizzing me on bird calls? I don't know. So Herbie heard some elephant's tummy rumbling a little bit earlier, so we've just basically been sort of circling the area trying to pick up on tracks. We haven't picked up any tracks yet. I've been hearing a southern ground hornbill. We've also heard some hippos in the background, but other than that, it's been a very quiet morning in the bush, which is lovely on bushwalk, just quiet, settled, peaceful as we walk along. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to head down through this little tambueti thicket and then check twin dams. And then from there, we will see what we can find. Herbie, everyone thought you were awesome. Herbie's smiling from ear to ear. The best smile ever. All right. So one of the reasons why we're going to go and check this tambueti thicket is last time I was on, sorry, Hadida Ibis, I didn't like that comment. I was on walk with Steph. We were just talking about when it's a little bit windier, when it's a little bit cooler, they do tend to come through that area. So that's where we're going to go. So let's meander that side and see what we come up with. And Brent is going to come and join us now out in the Mara. So let's head on over to him, or up to him, I should say, rather, and see what he has to show us.
Good morning, and welcome to the Masai Mara. I know when Jamie went out, she said, oh, the skies are clear. Well, that's changed. The skies are now cloudy. My name is Brent Smith. I have Jahawi on camera, and we're doing a little bumble below the escarpment here. I'm hoping to bump into their Angama pride. They're not at their usual spot around the lugger, so just having a little bit of a look further to the north. Now, silly me, I forgot my jersey this morning, but luckily, never fear, when there's a shuka near, you can wrap yourself up, keep nice and toasty. Hashtag Safari Live if you have any questions. And the grass in this part of the Mara is growing so quickly, I think it's going to be soon quite difficult to spot. Oh dear, a lot of the lions. Let's go slippery sliding for a little bit. Whee! So we've had a lot of rain over the last few days. It's turned some of these roads into absolute mush. But of course, unlike Taylor, the hurdy-burdy, I'm stuck in the mud McCurdy, I don't get stuck. Of course, Madam McCurdy will be coming back soon from her holiday to get stuck again, I'm sure. What have we over there? Where did I put my binoculars? Oh dear. Where did I put them? Oh, let's have a look. Is that a rhinoceri or is that a buffalo? Or what is that? Or is it? It's a bit far away. We'll try and get a bit closer. It's a little elephant. Hello, little Ellie. Ah, as Jawi said, there are cars. Maybe that's where the Angama pride is hiding. Nice cloudy morning like this. They might be on the move still. Oh, joy. More mud. Not too bad though. You get your line wrong, you can get severely stuck in these areas. But when it's like this, look, you don't even need to use your hands. You can just have a relaxing drive and the road does it for you. You just stick in the ruts. Okay, now we do need to use our hands to get out of the rut. I think we might have to pull someone out of the mud today. I think they're going to get stuck. Now, difficult to see the tracks, but I saw a specific species of fly as I drove past this hole in the ground, which tells me what is inside, and it's inside at the moment because the flies are present. They're difficult to see, but we can't get out of the car here. But there's an aardvark underground there. Now, aardvark have their own special fly species that sticks with them. It actually feeds off their sweat. Can you believe how gross, disgusting? But the flies, if they are on the exit of the burrow, the aardvark's at home and they're waiting for the aardvark to go out again tonight, and then they'll jump onto it, and then when it goes back into its next hole, they'll do the same thing. Okay. But while we continue to search for ryons, let's go all the way back down south to Rolf and a hippopotamus.
Right, folks, we've just We've just relocated just onto the other side of the dam wall here at Chitwa Dam, just to have a look at the little baby, mommy and her little baby, still doing well. And like I said, we're just continuing a little bit with the birding. We're hearing now for the first time around the rains once again. You hear the Burchell's cuckoo, who we call the rainbird, because generally only calling and making itself seen around the rains. A very fluid call, and always around the rains. He's calling off in the distance. I'm not sure you'll be able to hear it on the camera, but and just around we've been seeing, I think if Seb pans off just to the right of the hippo, just along the bank, we've got the water thickneys and the blacksmith lapwing there. There are your waders. That's the blacksmith lapwing. Oh, looks like he's got a problem with one of his legs. But they're quite adept at continuing with just one. Shame, I wonder what he's done to that one. He's hurt that one leg. He's not going to be too attractive to a female like that. I wonder what happened. But he seems to... he's good enough to chase away the water thickneys, who didn't seem too happy with him. They're normally nocturnal birds, but obviously they do need to shift if they're getting chased by a blacksmith lapwing. They're nocturnal birds, but they stay next to the water. There would be increased activity during the night. There's nowhere to hide. They are ground-dwelling birds, so and there you can hear that little high-pitched trill of the water thickney. Yes, everybody feeling sorry for the lapwing. Well, I do too, but as I say, it didn't seem to stop him from chasing off the thickneys, so I don't think that he'll be doing too badly, but shame. That doesn't look comfortable, hopping around on one leg. But I don't think it's going to stop him from surviving, as it carries on preening there, doing a bit of feather maintenance. Margot, I got a question about his leg. I didn't quite get the gist of the end of that. No, there was a question. Was his leg sore? I'm sure it would be a little bit sore, but even there he was... Margot, I'm sorry, I can't... will it heal? Thank you, Seb. Will it heal? Margot... I think it might do, and especially the way he used it there to scratch his head. I don't think that it's broken. I think he's actually maybe just hurt it and it's a bit sore. So because he was able to use it there, so I think it might heal altogether, or he might just be old Johnny One Leg. But it does seem to be able to function, but not at optimum, so it's not ideal, but I don't think that he'll die as a result. He's obviously not in the best way he could be. But it's all interesting. Hey, you see, I mean, he's still finding a way to carry on, hopping around on one leg. But in the breeding season as it is now, I don't think he'll be attracting any female like that. It's like jumping around on a pogo stick. Shame, and I wonder how he did that. it was fighting with another male, or if it was something like a jackal that maybe came for him. Now, you can also see, if Seb can have a look at that, at the big nest of all the, and excuse me for that pole, but once we pan in, that's it. That's where, once again, the birds are all vying for space. So sometimes they compete with each other, but other times they do assist. Now, that's obviously a dead tree that's been utilized by the red-billed buffalo weavers, and they've started with the big mats of sticks with their nesting, but then you've got the masked weavers that have come in and used that as points to build their nests off of. So they are sort of not working together, but they are utilizing a similar space, and there wouldn't have been those sticks if it wasn't for the red-billed buffalo weavers. So there is advantages in having more birds in one space sometimes. Now, the red-billed buffalo weavers are not true weavers because they don't actually weave. They're just putting in sticks in all over the place. Whereas the masked weavers, they are true weavers because they are literally able to tie a knot. And they start by tying a knot and normally pulling in 2 branches and tying them together, and then that start to build their nest. Now you see those nests, they've all got a bowl with a lovely entrance going in from underneath. So quite difficult if you're not a flying specimen. It's quite difficult for you to get into that bowl, which is where they would nest and obviously lay the eggs and raise the young. And the males, they need to try and build a nest, and obviously when they first start out, it's not that easy. They do need to learn. It is instinctive to do it, but they do need to try and attract a female and then keep her there. So while I continue watching and seeing if we can see any babies, I think Jamie has got some young animals to show you, but of a much larger kind.
Well, yes, absolutely. Much larger than a baby weaver might be, but these 3 little ones are being so utterly playful and hilarious that we just had to share this with you. Oh, the 3rd one's gone off in a strop. Oh, look at me. Push you away. Ah! Ha ha. That's adorable. There's 3 of them around about the same age, but the one's had enough. This was just too much for it. Especially the attentions of the youngest. The youngest one seems to be the instigator here. What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh. I love watching the dynamics with baby elephants. They are so entertaining. Oh, there we go, little one suckling. But let's stay on the 2 that are play fighting. That's the one that was obviously got hungry and moved off away from the fight. But let's just stick with these 2 because this game will end pretty soon. I want to just watch the 2 of them. Now this is pure invitation to come and play. Touching with the trunk, all of these nuances of elephant behavior that these little ones are still learning. Hey, where'd you go? No, come back. Ha ha. I'm bigger and stronger than you. Oh. Credit where credit is due. The little one is doing pretty well for itself. Ah, Mum, won't you move out of the way? I know that's terribly mean of me to say, but if you could just sort of shift yourself a little bit, that would be great. Or if the 2 little ones would come out from behind you, that would also be marvelous. A show of strength from 2 very tiny babies. Although, if you were involved in the middle of that, I think you'd find yourself with the odd broken bone, because you're looking at babies weighing in at well over 100 kilograms, so over 200 pounds. It's very cute when you watch them in comparison to the adults, but it's something that we as people would find ourselves outmatched by. Oh, come on, you two. Come out from behind. There we go. There we go. Come on. Animals at play is always special. By the way, look, speaking of babies, since our babies are now hidden behind this adult, we did actually try and get a bit closer to the baby giraffe, but Mom moved off into the forest, and obviously, as I said, I wasn't going to stress her out with such a brand new baby. Oh, there we go. We're coming out. There we go. Perfect. Marvelous. Oh, getting irritated. Oh. Okay. Hello. You took me by surprise. The elephants don't want us to see the babies playing this morning. They want to hide them. Oh, she's got a stumpy trunk. Not often you see stumpy-trunked elephants in the Mara. Crocodile, perhaps. In this area, that's entirely possible. Look at the way that she's adapted to use that short trunk. You can see her bending down. Oh, shame, she's really only got half a trunk. And this looks like quite a fresh injury. Or is it maybe just opened up a little bit? Perhaps just damaged slightly. But she is definitely going to struggle a little bit. She'll still be fine, though. She will still be absolutely fine and healthy with a trunk like that. It could indeed be a crocodile. It could also have been caused by a snare. It's one of those sad realities of life. A snare meant for bushmeat could have caused an injury like that. It's not really aimed at the elephants. It's aimed at smaller antelope for food, but it often catches them as unintended victims. Ah! There we go, a clear field of view, well done Archie, to our babies that are still. Oh, I'm just going to sit down. You can try and push me over now. Oh, tail's stiff. Are you done now? Are you done? You feel as though you've been outmatched? Or are you coming back for seconds? Oh, thinking about it. Definitely thinking about it. Hasman very well observed. So Hasman is wondering if we can have a look at a bit closer to the baby's temporal glands and wants to know if the babies were sweating from them. They are secreting from them. It's difficult, of course, now that we want to look at that. They've basically all turned away. But you are absolutely right, Hasman, in that... Oh! Poop. Okay, not our best timing, but the baby will turn its head. There we go. They are secreting a little bit from the temporal glands, and that's out of sheer overexertion. There you go, there you go, there you go. So they're secreting a hormonal substance, or at least a substance that contains a very pungent scent that the elephants can then interpret in each other and basically work out exactly what the elephant is feeling. Now, you'll find that they secrete like that when they're stressed, but also when they're just overly excited, as would be the case with these little ones. So these little ones are not stressed, they're not unhappy. They're like children that have got themselves worked up into a complete state. You know, when kids do that, or even puppies, when they play with each other, they get overly worked up, and that's what's happening there. Very good question, though, which is the next train of thought, is how young do elephants start secreting from those glands? And James, I'm tempted to say that it starts very soon after birth, but I'm not sure of the exact time frame when exactly a young elephant will start to secrete from that gland. My suspicion will be that it's very quickly, because it plays such a crucial part in the way in which they communicate with each other in terms of scent. I suspect it happens very early on. But as to exactly when, I'd have to do some research on that. I'd have to look it up. It's a very good question, though. I've never thought of that before. But I don't know. Perhaps a few days, perhaps a week, perhaps immediately. Very, very good question. I'm inclined to go towards immediately, given how well developed baby elephants are when they are born. That ability to immediately stand up, use their trunk, not very well, but use their trunk, or at least wave it around, flap their ears. They're still learning the coordination of the muscles, but they are born exceptionally well developed. So good question. Are we done now? Or are we not? Ooh, where's everybody gone? Better catch up with them. It's tough when you're that tiny. Can't see over the grass stems. TA. You read my mind. I was just going down that route. So TA was wondering how long it takes before a baby elephant starts to eat grass. Well, this baby elephant is now supplementing its diet with grass, which would make it about 6 months old or a little bit older. So at around about 6 months, the baby elephants will start to supplement feed, and you'll start finding bits of grass and plant in their dung. So at 6 months of age, that is when they start to feed on solid food. But they will continue to suckle for another few years. So it takes time before they are fully weaned. But those initial 6 months, they are entirely dependent upon mum's milk. And they still haven't worked out how to use their trunk to feed. And in fact, an elephant of this age is still practicing. So still getting to the point where it has to learn how to wrap its trunk around a piece of grass and pull it up effectively. And especially when it's rainy like this, the grass is all slippery. That's not that easy. But good question. Everybody's calmed down again. I'm going to let these Ellies move off, and the reason why is that I mentioned the cheetah cubs earlier. We've still got an hour and a half left of the morning safari, and I'm hoping I can get... Look, there's no guarantee because I don't know if she's been found this morning. But I'm hoping we can get there, and maybe she'll be there, and we get lucky. Can't guarantee anything, but it's worth a try, don't you think? Now that we've got the other people who have joined us for the morning safari, and it's not just me nattering on at you, I think we can probably risk it. Okay, so as we trundle off, we've got to get over that ridge in the far distance, so I'm going to put my foot down. Let's head across to Ralph, who apparently has left Chitwa Dam, but very mysteriously is on the search for something else.